Hello painters, today we're going to paint up the Magic the Gathering Eldrazi Ruiner. Starting with Zenithal priming as usual, and first color is Scale 75 Braineater Azure. Kind of a, almost like a periwinkle blue purple. Somewhat on the pastel side. And we're just going to cover the top part of his torso and just a little bit onto the lower section that sort of turns into a kind of a worm. You could brush this on with a paintbrush, just make sure your paint's nice and thin. And next up, I'm going to add some Scale 75 Ishtar pink to the mix. So I'm kind of going for a tone in between the two. I'm going to kind of come at it at like a 45-degree angle like I would if I was Zenithal priming. So it's going to catch most of the raised muscle areas and still leave some shadows in the recesses. Moving on to straight Ishtar pink. Now I'm going to start picking out the larger flat sections and the bigger muscle groups. Just to highlight those up. This is a good model to practice your airbrush control with because there are lots of large flat spaces to work with. On the arms, I kind of hold it at an angle from above, so I hit the top parts and it sort of skims over the recesses. Kind of going back over, brightening up areas I think that should be a little brighter. Alright, moving on. Skill 75 Undead Flesh. We'll paint the bottom half of the torso. Any sort of pale pastel green will work for this. I'll bring a little bit of that up into the pink purple mix from before. But I'm mostly concentrating on the worm-like tentacles of his bottom half. Here I was trying to figure out a way to mask off the top part, and then I decided it didn't matter if I got a little green on it. Now I've got some Skill 75 Toxic Waste Green. We're going to highlight the areas, highlight the top parts of each of the tentacles from above. This is a really bright, neon-y kind of green. Just doing a couple passes over each area. Alright, I sprayed the whole model with Vallejo gloss varnish, and now I'm using some Citadel Druchi Violet wash, and I'm covering all of the purple pink fleshy areas. Going back, making sure it doesn't pool up too much. Just keeping it moving. It's okay if you get a little on the green. This is probably the most time-consuming part of the whole part. Just making sure I'm not getting any large pools. Now I'm taking that same wash and going in between the tentacles on the lower part of the body, just to give them a little more shadow. Next up, we've got Citadel Biel-tan green wash. And now we're going to do all the green parts with it. Making sure to cover everything. Don't let it pool up. Alright, now I've coated the whole model with a flat varnish. I use Model Master's Lusterless Flat. We're going to go back to our toxic green and re-highlight all the tentacles. Just hitting the parts where I think the light would catch it the most. Alright, now back to our Ishtar pink, and we re-highlight the upper body. Same area as we did before. Just make sure and use your angles. Try to keep the shadows dark. Now I'm starting to use a little of the Ishtar pink on the green parts, and to help kind of blend the purple into the green. And it really kind of brings it all together. Just keep highlighting. If you think it needs to be brighter, hit it again. Alright, onto the eyes. We've got some Vallejo monocolor dark Prussian blue. And I'm just going to take a small brush and paint the entire slit of his eye. Then we've got some P3 Meredius blue. And starting more towards the front of the eye, we're going to cover up most of the Prussian blue. Now I've got P3 Arcane blue. And I'm just putting a large dot of that right in the front. And finally, P3 Morrow white or any other pure white. And just a dot of white on each side. You might take 2 coats of this. It's a very simple glow effect. Next we've got some P3 Menoth white base. I'm going to paint all of the little horns or spikes coming out of his right arm. believe there's one more underneath his arm that I didn't paint here on film. And then some Army Painter soft tone wash. And we're just going to cover all the spikes. And that's going to do it for this guy. So here is our finished product. This guy was pretty quick. It really only took probably about 45 minutes start to finish. So if you like this video, make sure to hit the like button. Subscribe if you'd like to see more. Make sure to check me out on Twitch and Patreon if you'd like to support the channel. There are links in the description below. Thanks and see you next time.